Viewers, are you still worried about the 2000 currency note that you have or you want to deposit, get it changed? Allaying fears of these concerns of the citizens, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das said that there was no need to panic, no need to rush to banks to exchange your 2000 rupee notes. Shaktikanta Das said that the September 30 deadline was still 4 months away and that the RBI has more than adequate stock of other denominations in the system for exchange. He went on to say that the impact of withdrawal on the economy would be very, very marginal, as the 2000 notes were introduced primarily to replenish notes withdrawn after demonetization. Here's what he said.
So this time we are therefore withdrawing it from circulation, these 2000 rupee notes, but they continue as legal tender. Purpose has been fulfilled. Today there are enough notes in circulation of other denominations. Even the circulation of 2000 rupee notes, as we have explained, has come down from its peak of 6,73,000 crores to about 3,62,000 crores. Advice is to please see it as a part of the currency management operations of the Reserve Bank. Let me put it, clearly, and that is the primary purpose which we have followed. You see, unless you give a particular time, unless you specify a particular time, the process will not reach a stage of finality.
This is what Shaktikanta Das had said, but the RBI governor's statement today comes even as opposition continue to criticize the government's decision to withdraw the currency. Opposition leaders have called it a foolish decision of the centre and has called it demonetization 2.0.
नहीं, ये गलत कह रहे हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। ये तो गलती फरमान मोदी जी का था, उसका खामियाजा जनता भुगत रही है। आरबीआई भी लूप लाइन में नहीं थी जब करेंसी बदल रही थी, और आरबीआई को भी अंडरमाइन किया गया, और गवर्नर की स्थिति को मैं समझ सकता हूं कि सच्चाई वो बोल ही नहीं सकते हैं। अनपढ़ होने का और देश की अर्थव्यवस्था का दुश्मन होने का परिचायक है और कुछ नहीं है। जनता परेशान हो रही है, तो क्या देश की जनता को पागल समझ रखा है? तो नोटबंदी करने से नकदी यानी कैश इकोनॉमी बढ़ी है, ब्लैक इकोनॉमी बढ़ी है।
RBI governor has made it quite clear that there is no need to panic for exchange of 2000 rupees currency note from tomorrow. There are no papers to be submitted. Only thing is that at a given time only 10 currencies note will be exchanged, and he has also said there is ample of the note for exchange. I appreciate the opposition should not do the human mongering and let people come and try to submit their money, and I'll request all Indians also, citizens also, to go to any nearest bank and deposit your 2000 rupees and exchange it for the 500 or 100 rupees currency.
Let's open this up. We are also taking your calls to our viewers because we have Mr. R Gandhi, former Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, to answer all your questions, your queries right here on Times Now. Sir, good evening. Thank you for speaking to us. Before I come to you, sir, let me introduce our viewer who is joining us, Mr. Rajendran, joining us from Bengaluru. Sir, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Pranesh. As somebody in the said, I don't have any complaints or any clarification. This is already was known 1 year back, because we were not getting 2000 rupees either from ATM or the bank. So people who are having the white money or the actual money, those who are paying taxes and all, not hoarding, they need not to worry about this one. Only the people who are having the lots of money, so they should be worried, So as far as I'm concerned, nobody is affected, right from anybody, top to bottom, anybody, no worker is affected.
Right.
So this is a good move. This is a good move.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, Mr. Rajendran. Mr. Gandhi, how do you see this move and the commentary around it, sir? Your take.
Yeah, of course, Reserve Bank has said that it has announced this as a part of its clean note policy, because that is a standard mechanism any central bank would follow after due period of circulation of any notes, it gets it withdrawn. Of course, for withdrawing, there are two standard methods. One is passive withdrawal and another is active withdrawal. In the passive withdrawal, it quietly does informing the banks to return the notes. And in active withdrawal, it advises the public to surrender it back in exchange or replacing in deposits. So after 5-6 years after introduction, the Reserve Bank has now, in the past 3-4 years, it has stopped further printing thereof, and it had not been reissuing, and now it has advised the public to return it back in exchange or in depositing it in their account. So because it is, as I said, it is a standard practice to draw it back. Of course, there are several guess why this has been done. One predominant view is that it is a part of eliminating chance for stocking it as black money be getting stocked as in higher denomination. Yes, that is a collateral benefit the country may get when such high denomination notes are not in circulation. To that extent, stocking of black money in higher denomination notes gets reduced. So to that extent, country may benefit out of it. Number two, since many of the ordinary people are unlikely to possess these 2,000 rupee notes except in a few pieces, it may not affect them at all.
Right.
And those who have a very large number of such notes, they also can deposit in their accounts. Only by any questions that may come from the income tax department.
They will have to answer that. And because we are talking about people and the problems they might face, let's listen to what people have to say. Mr. Balasundar joining us from Bengaluru. Sir, good evening. This is your channel, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening. Actually, this is a welcome move. In fact, a little delayed, I should say. It's a perfect kind of a thing which has to be done, and we all look forward towards implementation at the earliest. Number one. Number two, prior to the earlier denomination of 2000, the 2.3% for the GDP was a black money. 2.5% of the GDP was a black money, and that is not the resilient economy. For the first time when they have started cleansing the system, is absolutely perfect, and we are looking for a global kind of a thing to go ahead. It's a welcome move, and
okay.
it is a right time. The political parties also come out with what kind of thing they have around, and it's absolutely fine. As a senior citizen and a responsible person, I welcome this move.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for connecting, sharing your thoughts. Mr. Diwakar now joining us from Chennai. Sir, good evening. You're on Times Now.
Yeah, sir, Diwakar. Hello, can I go on?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I am calling from Chennai. I am a retired bank employee. The move that was taken by Reserve Bank of India is a welcoming move. There is nothing to worry about it. In my locality also, I have inquired with some people about the currency exchange. They said they don't have the 2,000 rupees notes. For the last 1 year, 1.5 years, they are not getting the notes of 2,000 rupees notes. Because it is already blocked, there is no need to worry about it.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
That's good to know, sir. Thank you for connecting. Mr. B.L. Bajaj now joining us from Chandigarh. Sir, good evening.
Good evening. You see, my question is, the RBI Governor said that after 30th of September, 2,000 rupees note remains legal tender. Does it mean that it will still be valid when you go for transactions to the bank, or does it mean that people are not accepting it even now? So what happens to the legal tender after 30th September?
Let me have that answered. Mr. Gandhi, what would you say, sir?
Sorry, I couldn't get the question clearly.
He's saying the deadline is 30th of September. The RBI governor today came out and said that don't worry, this will continue to be legal tender. So what happens after the deadline?
First of all, this 4 months period should be by and large be sufficient for many of the people to return the notes. Yes, After 30th, what happened? 30th September, what happens? Of course, right now it will be a question of conjecture. But I would expect the Reserve Bank to be practical and be supportive of citizens. And in case a large number of notes are still to come, or some specific cases like people who are abroad who cannot come back within this period of time to return the notes, there I would expect the Reserve Bank to come out with some measures through which such exchange can still take place.
I hope that answers what Mr. Bajaj wanted to know. Mr. Manjunath now joining us from, Mr. R.K. Reddy is now joining us from Bengal. Mr. Reddy, good evening.
Yeah, very good evening, sir. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah. Sir, so long you get your things done, why should people worry about the 2,000 or 10,000 or 1 lakh rupee note? See, I'm a retired government servant in the top post. It's for the past several years I have not got this 2,000 rupees note. Where they have gone? Underground? And India is number one in the digital currency today. People should appreciate it. I say transact with the other currency, other denominations. Why do you bother about it? Suppose you want to buy the dairy product, you will buy the token. See, recently in Bangalore, in Karnataka, there was an election, and these candidates, they distributed in each constituency about 60,000 tokens, so that people who get him win will go to the mall they have prescribed and get the products up to 5,000 rupees. See, it is a value addition only.
Right.
Why should people bother about the 2,000 or 10,000? See, one incident I will tell you, sir. In the past, somewhere in south, one fellow designed a currency of $1 million. And it was, he was arrested and that currency was sent to US. They tested all round and it was perfect. But
Right.
to his bad luck, it was banned. See, why should we bother about these politicians and these economists who are opposing to be banned from the country? No, I am very sorry. We should be positive. And so
Okay,
long
we should be positive. Nothing to panic, Mr. Reddy. Thank you for connecting. Mukesh Sinha joining us from Mumbai. Sir, good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Gandhi, this exercise which you have a storage money, whatever 2,000 rupee notes which are in store, we are going to give it to the bank. Again, it will go back into storage only. If the government had said that every note which you have 2,000 rupee, it is deposited in the bank account, then it would have been all right. It would have eliminated all the storage money. But right now, it is not going to help that way. We are back to storage money. We will go back to storage and 500 rupee notes.
Let's get Mr. Gandhi to answer that, sir.
Sorry, that is a wrong understanding, because once it has come back to the banking system, it is the Reserve Bank has instructed the banks to return it to the Reserve Bank of India. So it comes back to Reserve Bank of India. It is not going to be available outside the Reserve Bank as a store of value, which you doubt. So that cannot happen, because it has to come back to Reserve Bank of India. That's the instruction.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. Mr. Anandam now joining us from Bengaluru. Sir, good evening.
Good evening, Pranesh. Thank you so much for taking my call, and good evening, Mr. Gandhi. Now, I just have, I wouldn't call it a question, but it's just a thought. Please correct me if I'm wrong about this thought. Yeah, we did, this is not demonetization, but we did demonetization for the 500 and 1,000 rupee notes, and then we printed the new 500 and the new 2,000 rupee notes. Now, how much of the money of the demonetization came back into the system? We are all aware of it. I don't know if that was a good move or a bad move. No comments on that. And now 2,000 is going to come back.
Right.
But my question is, we spend a lot of money printing these notes. It's the taxpayers' money, which is spent on printing these notes. And every single time there is a suspicion that a lot of black money is hoarded, we are either demonetizing notes or we are trying to get the notes back into the system. But at the end of the day, it's the taxpayers' money which is spent on printing these notes, which comes back into the system in 5-6 years. And now, I'm sure you would agree, Mr. Gandhi, that 500 currency denomination is not sufficient in the given inflation in the economy of the country, or globally for that matter. So I won't be surprised if a 1,000 rupee note comes into the printing. And that again is an expense for the government, which comes out of the taxpayers' money. So is this a viable, I think we are firefighting that being proactive, is what my thought is. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right, Mr. Anandam, thanks for sharing your thoughts. Out of time, we'll have to move on. Mr. Gandhi, thanks for joining us and helping our viewers with some of their queries. We move on, viewers. This is a historic